Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We'll begin with breaking news. The Kern County Sheriff's Office makes several arrests in connection to an undercover operation. According to KCSO, detectives with the Special Victims Unit have been working on targeting online child predators for the past couple of months. KCSO says during the pandemic, children have spent more time online, which means an increased danger for them. Detectives posed as minors through various sites and were contacted by people interested in engaging in sexual acts. Detectives arrested 15 suspects, including 2 sex offenders, a California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation employee, and a California Highway Patrol officer. KCSO asked parents to keep an eye on their kids' online activity. And more breaking news, we have learned that longstanding church leader Monsignor Ronald Swett has died. Now, Monsignor Swett died this morning. The Catholic Church says he has been suffering from some kind of illness, only telling the congregation that the pastor was critically ill. Swett has been a fixture in Bakersfield's community. He retired from his pastoral duties at St. Philip the Apostle Church in 2012 after 20 years. Well, new at noon, a 2-year-old is dead after he was run over by a car in Arvin over the weekend. According to California Highway Patrol, around 4 Saturday evening, officers responded to a home near the corner of Sunset Boulevard and South Edison Road for a child who'd been hit by a car. CHP says the driver, 31-year-old Jose Malagon, got into his car and was pulling out of his driveway. Malagon says he did not see the child in the driveway and ran him over. CHP says the 2-year-old sustained major head injuries and was taken to the hospital where he died. According to officers, he was under the influence of alcohol at the time and was arrested. He has since posted bail. Well, police need your help in finding 2 missing children. According to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's on Saturday, 12-year-old Christopher Cortez and 14-year-old Anissa Cortez were with the LA County Department of Children and Family Services at USC Medical Center. Officers say the children's father, Christopher Cortez, is believed to be a suspect after following them to the medical center and telling the 2 kids to get into his car. Christopher, the 12-year-old, is Hispanic, black hair and brown eyes. He's 4 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 147 pounds. And Anissa, who is the 14-year-old, also has black hair and brown eyes. She's 4 foot 10, weighing 106 pounds. If you know where they all are, call the LA Sheriff's Office at 213-974-8000. And a 3-year-old girl is safe now after she was believed to be kidnapped. Brooklyn had been last seen Sunday night. Police believe she was taken by her father, Charles. An alert was in effect for several counties across Southern California. Again, Brooklyn has been found and she is okay. Now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Public Health confirms another 106 new cases today. That brings our total to over 20,000 cases. Our death toll stands at 144 people, 58 deaths this month alone. Our hospitalization rate continues to climb. 260 people are in the hospital. That's 2 more than yesterday. Roughly 3/4 of Kern's cases are considered active at this time. Over 14,000 residents are recovering at home.
Well, taking a look at our forecast for today, and we're going to start with the tropics, and we've been tracking Isaias, and this storm right now, a tropical storm, it is going to gain a little bit of strength as we head into tonight as a Category 1. It'll be brief, and then it'll ride north into the Carolinas as we head into tomorrow. So definitely a storm will continue to track. Florida was lucky. I think the Carolinas are going to pick up more rain and wind with this than Florida did for sure. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Here at home, we're in the 80s for Delano right now, 90 in Shafter, 88 in Taft, and then for the mountains, 88 in Frazier Park, 84 in Tehachapi, and 93 out of Lake Isabella. We're looking at 99 in Sacramento today, Fresno at 103, and then where we really find that heat still, Las Vegas at 111, Phoenix at 112. Here's a look at the beach forecast, and they're even going to be a little bit warmer today, 75, because they didn't have that fog this morning. We're looking at a northwest wind 15 to 20, so a little bit of a breeze there as well. The ridge is going to break down. Yay, that's good news for all of us because we've got a trough developing drifting out of the northwest. That will bring our temperatures down, but it will be short-lived as this ridge will retrograde from Texas to the west again by the end of the weekend, and it looks like triple digits are going to come back. Day 8 of the heat wave. Yes, our 5th heat wave. We had 8 days of 100 degrees, 28th triple-digit day of the season. July had 15 triple-digit days. Now we're into August, and the hottest day, 108 so far, and that was set July 12th. Here's a look at the numbers for today. Bakersfield should be right near 102. We're looking at 101 in Porterville and 100 out in Taft. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, breezy as we progress into the afternoon. 90 in Fraser Park. We're looking at 88 in Stallion Springs, 90 in Tehachapi, right near 100 for Lake Isabella. And then for the desert, we're looking sunny here and 101 in Mojave. Here's your extended forecast, and you can see that cool down tomorrow, 99, lower 90s Thursday and Friday. And then for the mountains, also a cool down on the way for you. You're going to be in the lower 80s Thursday and Friday, right back up for the weekend though. And then for the Kern River Valley, lower 90s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you can see Saturday, Sunday, we start to warm things up once again. We've got more news coming your way right after the break.
As weather gets warmer, people are sharing their pools with others amid the pandemic. KTLA reported that people in Southern California are renting out their pools to other people. This is because many public pools and beaches are still closed because of COVID-19. One couple said they've made $7,000 renting their pool to other people. An app called Swimply allows people to put their pool up for rent, much like an Airbnb listing. Some pools are described as kid-friendly, while others are described as resort-like, so there's really something for everyone. Well, Apple has reportedly bought a startup firm with technology that could turn your iPhone into a mobile payment terminal. Users would be able to either tap their phone or a credit card to another phone to process a transaction. It works through the NFC chip that's already in the iPhone. While Apple Pay lets you use your iPhone to pay in stores, this technology could allow any iPhone to accept payments without needing extra hardware, such as a card reader. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom is streaming live to give an update on the coronavirus crisis here in our state. Let's take a listen in and hear what he has to say today.
Positivity rates north of 30% in Imperial County. In fact, it peaked at 30.3%. You can see on this graph the number of cases reflected in Imperial County in the blue line, substantially outpacing the number of cases in the rest of the state. This graph certainly presents itself as a spike in cases in Imperial County. It required a new approach, new strategies, and new accountability structures, and that's exactly what took place. The model now, as we're referring to it, the Imperial model, was all about providing supports, building capacity at the local level, filling in gaps, meeting needs both on personal protective gear, not just personnel, meeting the needs of the hospital system, providing additional supports, new strategies and prevention from PSA campaigns, culturally competent messages that were delivered to individuals as well as businesses and more broadly the community at large, in addition to sectoral closures that we made abundantly clear as it relates to moving forward to address the concerns that were flaring up in certain sectors of the economy in the valley. You can see on this slide the number of cases as they began to spike. We began to intervene. You can see the medical personnel that we began to send in around June 3rd. Where we worked with not only state and county and local officials, but broadened that support by getting a lot of federal supports as well from a number of federal agencies. You can see after those interventions were put into place, again, beginning with the decompression of the hospital system as a foundational principle, more targeted supports, and some additional sectoral changes as it relates to returning to a stay-at-home order. You could see that line spiked and substantially began its decline. 30.3%, yesterday's positivity rate, still high, but at 11.2%. A successful approach, one that requires constant vigilance, one that we're continuing to engage in, but one that long-windedly has now become a model in terms of our approach, the imperial approach in other parts of the state. Last week, where we last joined each other, I began the process of announcing strategies in the Central Valley, in 8 counties in the Central Valley, for the obvious reason you can see exampled here on this chart. We're starting to see not only an increase in the positivity rates. I mentioned last week where I made some announcements about our interventions in Central Valley that we saw positivity rates on the lower end in Fresno at the time at 10.7%. And peaking around Tulare at a 17.7% rate. Not where we were in Imperial, but we don't want to see it go to where Imperial went. And that's why we felt it was appropriate to intervene using the information, using the experience, the best practice, the data collection, the approach in Imperial, and beginning that approach in the Central Valley. Why the Central Valley? Well, again, this slide underscores the concerns. You're starting to see the hospitalization and ICU rates increase, not just positivity rates in the Valley, outpacing the rest of California.
All right, you can continue watching Governor Newsom's whole live stream on our Facebook page and on our website, KGET.com.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.